This video is dedicated to my mom, Mary Coutinho, who passed away a few weeks ago. My mom inspired me to make this recipe and so many other recipes. I've learned so much from her. I only hope that she is singing and dancing in God's kitchen. Miss you, Mom. Biryani is a legendary recipe from India and Pakistan. Basmati rice is steam cooked in a delicious meat or chicken gravy. Hi everyone, I'm Ahmed, and although there are so many different ways to make a biryani, today I'm going to show you a fast and easy boneless chicken biryani. There are so many different types of biryani: Lucknowi, Sindhi, Hyderabadi, Pakistani, biryani from Delhi. The recipes are varied and all delicious. Each place has a recipe to call its own. Today I'm going to show you a very simple biryani. Now I make biryani myself many different ways, but I invented this recipe to serve at large potlucks. This is perfect. Using boneless chicken enables you to serve this to a large amount of people, and you don't have people fighting over the largest piece of chicken meat. Typically, biryani is made with bone-in meat, and for good reason. The bone really contributes to the gravy and makes for delicious biryani. But in this recipe, I'm going to use succulent chicken thigh instead, and it's going to deliver fabulous results. The first thing I'm going to do is soak my rice. I'm using 3 cups of basmati rice, and I'm going to soak it and rinse this together really well till all of the white liquid runs clear. I'm using 2 pounds of boneless chicken thigh meat. Now this is very succulent meat, and it's going to compensate for the fact that I'm not using bone in chicken. I'm going to marinate this really simply with 1 teaspoon each of ginger and garlic paste. I'm going to add some salt, about 2 tablespoons of yogurt, and 2 tablespoons of biryani masala. Now you can find biryani masala at any Indian grocery store. I prefer to make my own. It gives me a really consistent result, and I can assure you that it's gluten-free. If you want the recipe for my homemade biryani masala, I'm going to leave a link in the description as well as at the end of this video. I prefer to leave my chicken marinating in the fridge overnight, but if you don't have much time, leave it to marinate for at least 1 hour. I'm also going to slice and fry some potatoes, as well as I'm going to boil and have some boiled eggs and keep these aside. In a bowl, I've got about half a cup of warm milk, and I'm going to add a generous pinch of saffron to this warm milk. It's actually going to steep in the warm milk and turn the saffron a beautiful yellow color. Saffron is widely used in very special Indian recipes, in Mughlai food, as well as some of our very decadent sweets. Now this comes from Spain. It is harvested every year from the crocus flower. These stamens are collected and dried and shipped all over the world. It's usually a really small crop, and hence it's very expensive. My pre-prep also includes slicing my onions, dicing my tomatoes, as well as chopping up my green chilies. I'm now going to start on the biryani. I'm going to use a very large pot. The reason I'm using a large pot is I'm going to cook the gravy, and eventually I'm actually going to put all the biryani into the same pot, and it's going to go in the oven. So make sure that your dish is oven proof. I'm going to start with half a cup of oil, and to that I'm going to add 4 cups of onions that I've sliced. Now I'm going to cook these onions till they're golden brown. I'm going to take half of the onions out and leave these aside, and the other half I'm going to let them go a little bit longer till they turn a very dark golden brown. I'm also going to throw in a few cashew nuts. You can use any nuts that you want. You can use almonds, pistachios, whatever you like. And if you want to keep your biryani nut-free, you can omit this completely. Once my second onion mixture is nice and golden brown, I'm going to take this out and leave it aside. Back in the same pot, I'm going to add the first half of the onions together with 2 tablespoons of green chilies that I've sliced, and I'm just going to cook this before I add my marinated chicken. I'm going to leave my marinated chicken just so it sears just a little bit at the bottom, and then I'm going to stir it and let it sear all the way through. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of biryani masala, followed by 1 teaspoon each of ginger and garlic paste, and 2 cups of tomatoes. I'm going to add some salt, give it a good mix, and I'm going to cover it and let it cook. Let your chicken gravy cook for at least 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to see that the tomatoes are now nice and mushy. You can actually just squish them with the back of your spoon. If you want your biryani to be a little bit spicy, add another teaspoon of red chili powder, and I'm also going to add 1 generous tablespoon of ghee or clarified butter. I'm going to mix this and I'm going to keep it aside. It's now time to cook the long grain basmati rice. This has already been washed and drained, and in a separate pot I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ghee or clarified butter, and I'm going to throw in some spices. I'm going to add some bay leaves, some cinnamon, some star anise, some cardamom, as well as some cloves. Once this starts to bubble in the ghee, I'm going to add some water. Typically, you have to add 2 cups for every cup of rice, but I'm adding a little bit more just to give the rice enough room to grow. I'm also going to drain this water at the end. Add some salt to your water, add your rice, and cook this basmati till it's half done. Now here's a tip, it's Murphy's Law that the minute you turn your head away from the pot, it's going to boil over. So make sure to watch your rice pot very carefully. The rice has now been half cooked. I've drained all of the water out and it's ready to be assembled. In the same pot that I prepared my gravy, I'm going to take away half of the gravy and just keep it aside. And I'm going to layer in half of the rice that I pre-cooked. And I'm going to follow that with half of the saffron milk that I prepared earlier. Next, I'm going to add the second half of the gravy, followed by the remainder of the rice, the other half of the saffron milk, and then I'm going to add all of the fried onions and nuts that I prepared earlier. And I'm also going to add the boiled eggs right on the top. I'm going to add some food coloring. Now in biryani, you can use any color from yellow to red to orange to green. I like to use a nice egg yellow color. This is just a food color that you can get at any Indian store that is powder based. I'm just going to sprinkle some in at the top, and I'm going to make sure to seal my dish very carefully with foil. Now in the modern kitchen, we usually put the biryani in the oven. So you can seal it with foil, put a lid on it, and in the oven it goes. In the olden days, they would cook this on a coal flame, and they would also use flour, a mixture of flour, to actually seal the entire dish up. Once it goes into the oven, it's going to cook for about 30 to 45 minutes. You're actually going to smell the biryani and you'll know that it's done. And then it's ready to eat. I like to toss the biryani together with a fork, making very sure to not break up any of the grains. And I also like to fold in fresh herbs just before I serve it, like coriander and mint. Your boneless chicken biryani is ready to eat. Thank you so much for watching me on Cravings Food Adventures. I do hope you follow me. I upload new videos every Friday and I have bonus videos on Wednesdays. Make sure you subscribe so you're the first to see it. If you want to try a more elaborate biryani, please click here for my sister-in-law's Bangalore biryani. This is a delicious and very famous recipe. I'm also going to throw the link for my Biryani Masala. Make a large batch and you can use it every time. Until I see you next time, do take care. Bye.